I've been playing Minecraft for the better part of 14 years, with the original release on the Xbox 360 back in like May of 2012, I want to say. And I've absolutely loved the block game genre since. I always wanted more of it, to the point where I tried games like Castle Miner and Castle Miner Z on the Xbox Arcade. Also, tons and tons of mobile games that just copied Minecraft. That was kind of it. That was the thing. Reason I bring up all these games is because Hytale is not like them at all. Hytale is well and wholly its own entity, and it doesn't try to remove itself from its predecessors in the genre, but it innovates on the ideas that came before it. Now, before I continue, I must disclaim that I know this game is in early access, and small nitpicks and issues will likely be fixed in the coming months. This video is not made to tear down, but rather leave constructive criticism, and generally spark conversation about this game and the genre as a whole. It's the internet, so it's likely people will get upset anyway, but I just want to make it be clear that I love this game and Minecraft. Also, don't send hate to any of the developers. That includes for both games, along with any other game, I guess. Also, for clarity, this was written off around 12 to 14 hours of gameplay, and the furthest I've gotten was Zone 2, just so you know, these are first impressions, So, there's a lot I like about this game. So far, I think it is one of my very quickly favorite games that I've played in the last half a year to a year. But the world generation already feels great. I really like how pretty everything looks, and there is going to be a version 2. Editor me if you could put up some screenshots of just how gorgeous some of what they've shown off with version 2 is going to look like. That's insane. I already like how the game looks, and it's gonna look better. That's pretty cool. It has a very good progression system. Instead of going from wood to stone to iron, it instead kind of formats itself in a way that you can go from almost any. You do need some resources from previous tiers to upgrade your workbench in order to be able to make the more advanced versions of whatever it is you're making. So you can't make cobalt armor immediately off the bat because you need to get to a tier 3 workbench or an armor station. But you can work your way toward that at any point in the game, because stone is sort of this default value. Stone is what becomes harder to mine, but the ores themselves never are harder to mine. You're never going to lose ore because you're mining with the wrong pickaxe. It's very helpful to both new players and also just generally, if you want to get a step ahead, you could go to Zone 3 or 4 and get thorium, cobalt, or mithril, or whatever, but you'll also have to understand that you probably will die, because things are very tough there. They have a lot of health, and you won't be cut out for fighting them at that point. The lighting engine is amazing. One of the greatest lighting engines I've ever seen in a game. The fact that there are already colored lights, the fact that shadows just look amazing when overhead. If you make a house, the shadows will move with the sun. And so it just makes it feel that much more immersive when you are experiencing the world. Sound and visual design are great. Like, if you're mining, each little thuck of your pickaxe hitting something feels amazing, and the visual design of seeing sparks fly off, or seeing the light on a torch and hearing the torch as you are like moving around just holding it, feels amazing and really brings you in to the moment of whatever things you enjoy. Another thing that's very enjoyable is farming. It's very much like Stardew Valley, where you can kind of just do it in the morning, and you will slowly upgrade your bench over time using essentially these different plants along with any wood that you find to upgrade 2 different tiers in order to better make use of your farm. Alongside, you'll also just get things that make your farm better, like watering cans and fertilizer, etc., etc. There's parkour. it's really cool. It's a really cool system. There is, of course, mantling. You can already jump up 2 blocks by default, and when you mantle, it can go up to 4 blocks. So if you've ever had an issue where you're building and you need to be able to get up to somewhere, it is much easier here. There's also some niche little quality of life features that I really like walking up half steps, offhand being a button that lets you change to different items. It's really cool. The game has a fantastic art style. It is so gorgeous to look at most of the time. I didn't know that I would like this high definition of model, especially in a block game scenario, but I think it really works for the game and really adds to the game because of it. We already know that there's going to be an insane amount of community support. We have at least 10 years of development that was directly funded by Simon Hypixel, along with an additional 2 years from just the pre-purchasing phase of this game, and I'm sure that's only going to increase over time. Of course, another big good is that they already know the genre. I mean, this team and a lot of people on the team have worked with Hypixel, their Minecraft server, for decades. I played Hypixel almost religiously at a certain point. I think in Hypixel Skyblock, I got way too much money, and kind of no-lifed it for a while, especially during that sort of COVID era, whatever. I have trust in this team that they will be able to deliver on stuff, because they were able to work in a game that fundamentally doesn't really support modding or servers, and so they have built this game from the ground up to support everything. And that's the other really cool thing with Hytale that I'm sure we'll see in a few years, is that modding is going to be pretty insane. Servers are probably going to get also insane. The fact that servers will be able to just add mods and we won't have to worry about, oh, but does the client have the mods? We just have to worry about the server has the mods, and anyone who joins the server will also play on the server and thus have those mods, because everything is hosted by the server. And of course, I think my biggest thing that I really like about Hytale is the fantasy inspirations. I'm a big fan of D&D and World of Warcraft, and you can very obviously see the inspirations here, with, you know, things like the Void Eye, things like the Chorks. Is that how you say them? I don't know. The Quebecs, all the creatures of the world. I mean, players alone have, like, elf ears that you can have, so that's, you know, pretty obvious to what it is. Now, I do have a few nitpicks, but most of them are not... They're not that insane, and a lot of these are just kind of me complaining about silly little things that don't really matter. One of the nitpicks I have is that liquids look a bit weird when flowing. This is, I think, mostly just due to how it is handled currently, because they are essentially treated as blocks that then have, you know, a fourth full state or a half full state or whatever, and that's just currently how it is. I would like to see liquids actually flow together, and I'm sure at some point this will be fixed, but right now, obviously, it's early access. Keep that in mind about the game generally. Caves can be a little confusing. I was playing through during my, like, first 12 hours, and I think every time I wanted to get out of the cave, I had to just mine straight up, because I could not find where the entrance is. This is just due to the current world generation, which, yet again, they are working on a version 2 world gen, which makes me think that they'll probably get around to fixing any issues with the caves. I'd also like to see bigger cave systems, along with, like, wider caves generally, so there's a lot more to explore when you're mining, but so far, really like the world generation. Travel. I think this is one of my biggest complaints so far, and I think it will definitely be fixed in, you know, the coming months to years, really. because there are horses, and that is, from what I know, the best mode of transport. Also, this is from first impressions, so I might not know things. Keep that in mind. But horses can be a bit of a struggle to get around with, because if you get onto a horse, they work like a horse, you can move them around, but there's no way to tame them. So the minute you get off the horse, they will start running away. But as for the travel itself, walking around is nice, but it takes a long time. And if you want to get from your home in Zone 1 and get all the way to Zone 2, even that takes a while. But if you're wanting to get to, like, Zone 4, have fun. I know there are portals, which I think are probably the best way to get around. Another just small, itty-bitty little nitpick. Why do we have toes? Why? I saw that it's cursed. Why? Like, I can handle having fingers. You know, I can handle having a hand, a little palm of hand, a little, Arthur, the Arthur meme, editor me put up the Arthur meme. That's fine. Why do we have toes? It's cursed. They look cursed. Why, though? Good, but I hate it. I hate the toes. Don't like the toes. Editor J, remove the toes. Thank you. Another thing I despise are these fire toads. I went down into the caves long ago, and these fire toads, I think they're called rhino magma toads. They suck. They will grab you, and then they will grab you again, and then they will grab you again, and then you will simply just die. They take 90% of your stamina away anytime you block them, so if you have 3 around you, you might as well just kill yourself! Another small nitpick, of course, is that, signature abilities disappear after you switch off an item. So, let's say you have 2 daggers, and you have your signature ability charged. If you then switch to your pickaxe to do a bit of mining, and then you switch back to your daggers, the signature ability will be gone, which might be just a part of balancing generally, and I can definitely see that. But I also think having an option, at least, to have them be saved would be pretty neat. That'd be pretty cool. Also, I think this is just a small bug, so I don't know, or just an unplanned thing, but when you use a crossbow, the bolts will just go back in your inventory when you switch off and switch back on, and it doesn't really make sense. It's like if I had a gun, and I reloaded the gun, but then when I go back to the gun, all of the bullets are back in my backpack. And I go, what? Why are they back in my backpack? So, something for that would be pretty cool. I think if you have a pickaxe, you should be able to place a torch with your right click, because currently what it does is it just also mines, which is fine, but I think it'd be better to have a way to place whatever's in your offhand, especially if you have, like, a torch in your offhand. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I cannot wait to see where Hytale goes. Expect a lot more Hytale content on this channel. And hey, if you enjoyed listening to me yap about a game that just came out, and definitely don't send any hate to the developers. I swear I will find you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And hey, maybe check out some of my other stuff. It's there. It's been sitting there. It's not Hytale, because Hytale didn't exist yet, but it does now. There'll also be a gaming video very shortly. It'll probably be called A Very Stupid Title. And that'll be a lot more of, like, a funny haha video than a serious, like, first impressions video like this is. So, yeah. Have a good morning, afternoon, or good night. And I will see you all later. Bye.